Hello, and welcome to the Beautiful AI Podcast, brought to you by Perfect Corp, the leading provider of AI and AR solutions in the world of beauty and fashion. This podcast explores the many ways AI innovation is enhancing the lives of consumers and creating a more beautiful world. Join our host, technology thought leader Wayne Liu, as he talks with industry leaders about the AI innovations influencing the world today. If you're interested in learning more about the transformative impact of AI, keep listening.
Welcome back to the Beautiful AI Podcast. I'm your host, Wayne Liu. I am the President and the Chief Growth Officer at the Perfect Corp. So, Beautiful AI Podcast, this is the show where technology meets beauty. And then we also explore how today's the most innovative leader and how they leverage AI to build a smarter, more personalized, and a more beautiful consumer experience. And today, we are driving into one of the most exciting intersections in our industry, AI-powered skin health, and also now API-driven transformation. And then we have the perfect guest for the conversation. So we are thrilled to join with us is the Dr. Pallab Chatterjee. He's the chairman and the CEO of Nūraskin, and platform that's to redefine how consumer, Medspa, and the beauty business understand and improve skin health. Nūraskin is powered by Perfect Corp's award-winning AI skin analysis technology, and now they are embracing this API-first model to take their innovation to the next level. Hello, Dr. Chatterjee, welcome to our show.
Thank you very much, Wayne. It's so wonderful to join your show. We're very excited about the capabilities that we are jointly bringing to the market. So thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you for joining us. So let's start with some background. So you have a very impressive and impactful career in technology and innovation. From this the AI effort in the 90s to holding over like 50 patents in investing in the AI startup. Okay, very impressive. But for our listeners, so sometimes you always like behind the scene, right? So that's why for our listener who may not know the full story about you, can you share a little bit about your background and then what leads you to create a Nūraskin?
Yes. So for me, I've been in the technology business for over 4.5 decades. After my PhD at the University of Illinois, I joined the research group at Texas Instruments. And I was a full-time technology, research guy for the first 15 years of my life. Worked on a variety of different semiconductor and next semiconductor application-related research. Became the chief technology officer of TI, and we started with our AI research in the early 90s. And at that time, it was, things like Lisp machines and expert systems. We were really, interested in what AI could do even at that time, even though the computing capability was so much less than where we are today. And my interest in AI continued through my, career when I went from Texas Instruments to supply chain company I2, and then private equity, where we invested in AI over the last 15 years. I actually, moved over to one of the companies that did one of the earliest chatbot applications for retail called Cindy. And right now I'm continuing to have, really excited about what AI is bringing to the intersection of healthcare and technology. I've invested in, many companies, and Nūraskin is one of the most favorite application companies that I have right now.
Yeah. So again, that's very impressive. You start your career in the Texas Instruments. So actually, I have a similar path. I started my career in Intel, and my last semiconductor job is with NVIDIA. So it's very interesting. And
Very
then, so
good.
let's go to the skincare. Okay. So we've been talking this, right? So I guess the reason why you get into the skincare industry with your technology background is you really feel like skincare is a very traditional business, and then they lack more like a quantitative way to measure the result. So what inspired you to bring this AI technology into the skincare? And then how do you see the intersection changing the way people care their skin? Because I'm really curious, a semiconductor guy, and get into AI, get into skincare. Can you share with us your journey?
For me, one of my passions is to learn new things every 5 years of my life. I've done that every 5 years. Now, application of AI to different areas, and my thinking is that there is a lot of these industries, especially if you look at the beauty and skincare industry, as you said, is very traditional. It's also people buy on faith, and there is no personal way of actually knowing if the cream or serum or whatever you bought actually will do something for you. You bought because somebody told me the ingredients are good, and somebody said there's a picture of somebody else that did good. So my key question was, can you really have a way at home to know that it is actually what the treatment is doing for you? And it got enhanced when I actually looked at the arrival of things like red light masks for skin improvement, where they are, claiming that red light masks can actually improve your skin. And so I was intrigued by the fact that there's $250 billion being spent and nobody really knows if it actually does anything for it. And that's why I thought should get some technology involved in typical AI technology. And that's when I started looking at, who's doing these kinds of things, and found you guys.
Yeah, interesting. It's an interesting story. So we know the product, the company is the Nūraskin, right? So, but for people who have heard about the Nūraskin first time, so how can this, our listener can try the app? So, and I know you have a very a small special promotion for our listener.
So it is available on the App Store. If you go to the App Store and search for Nūraskin, you'll get the app. And if you download and get started, for people who are listening to this podcast, we'd like to offer a special promotion. If you enter the promo code Nūra Friends, N-U-R-A Friends, all caps, no gap, you'll get it for free and you can try it out. It's fully available to all the people who are listening to this podcast.
Great. Thank you. So for our listener, go to the App Store, try Nūra, N-U-R-A, Skin, one word, Nūraskin, download the app and then put the promo code. And then exciting thing is, once you download, once you try, you can start to get into this amazing 14 skin condition from a single selfie, and then track the progress through the glow score, which is the one which are part of this Nūraskin analysis system. So, Pallab, can you walk us through how this works in practice? Okay, so what happened from the moment a user takes that selfie?
Yeah. So the home screen actually asks you to take a selfie, and we use your technology with the APIs now to analyze the skin, show the conditions and the 14 specific conditions and the overall score, which we are calling the glow score. So that shows up in a few seconds. We also then have built into Nūraskin a skincare esthetician agent that is being taught all of the things that you need to learn to become an esthetician. And we also gave it an esthetician exam. It passed the esthetician exam. So it actually, you have a personalized esthetician looking at your scores. And then we, allow you to ask you to tell the esthetician, what are you looking for? What do you want to improve? And it actually recommends products that you should use in your treatment morning and evening. And then it prompts you in the morning and evening to use it and take a scan, so that, you can see improvements. And then once a month, we actually give you a result saying, how well did you do in terms of the before and after scores, or your glow score for the top 3 things that you were interested in, and where you made progress and where you didn't make progress. So it allows you to, have a real good feedback, on how well your treatments are.
Yes, so absolutely. So that's actually, I think that's the beauty of a Perfect Course's core engine, right? So we provide you AI engine, you can identify 14 different skin cancers. But on top of that, you add the Nūraskin's expertise and your creativity, the UI, UX, how you want to work with your customer, this type of thing. So I think that's amazing. It's just more like a Formula One car, right? So you probably don't build the engine, but you buy some engine and then you build on top of it. So do the best car in the world. So that's beautiful. So as I said, Nūraskin was built using a Perfect Corp AI skin engine. Okay, so I really want to know for a long time technology this, right? So from your perspective, you must evaluate some different provider, right, before choosing us. So what stood out from other technology and led you to partner with the Perfect Corp? So I'm really curious about that.
Yeah, when I realized that this was an area that I might, I would like to see if there is a disruption possible. I did some web research and looked at a variety of facial recognition and analysis papers and companies, and found Perfect Corp through that research. And I actually connected on LinkedIn with your CEO, Alice, and she connected me to you. So when I compared what you guys have, three things stood out to me. One is the depth of analysis, 14 different. I didn't see anybody else who was able to do that. Second, I think the validation through your dermatology study and your comparison with Vizia, which essentially it was validated the model that you had. The engine really does perform, it does work. That was also unique. The other people I was looking at didn't have that quality of clinical validation behind them. So those two things actually, made it very easy. And then we were able to work with your technical team to integrate, start creating the app.
If you're interested in this conversation and want to learn more about AI solutions for your business, consider booking a demo with Perfect Corp at www.perfectcorp.com/business. Contact us today and see how our selection of AI and AR solutions can take your business to new heights. Now, back to the episode.
Thank you. Actually, this means a lot to us, especially, we hear about lots of this good thing about companies, but this is really from an experience and long time technologies. It really means a lot. Thank you. And then our team will definitely get encouraged by your work. Okay, so talk about your product. So we have this conversation, a couple months ago in our forum, right? So you launched fairly recently. And then so far you tell me the feedback actually is pretty strong. Okay, especially from the Medspa and the CPG brand. Couple of things. First one is, what are you hearing from your customers so far? And what's the next step? Are you going to recruit more medical spa and CPG brand, try to partner with you? So what does the business model look like next?
The Medspa business model we actually developed together with a Medspa chain that has about 60 Medspas. And we wanted to make sure that it fits into their workflow and gives a sufficient value proposition improvement for them. So if you realize that, Medspas today have a couple of different competitive problems, is there's no reason for people to come back to your own Medspa. There's, everybody has promotions all the time. And it's easy for people to say, oh, I got a $10 extra promotion. I'll do my facial at the next best Med. So we partnered up with one of the Medspa owners and said, look, here's a technology that you can actually keep connected to your client, not only in the spa, but also when they go home. So you essentially have the ability to tell them, this is the treatment you should do. And then we created a workflow for Medspa that users gets the client to take the app home in their phone and prompts them to use it. And then we send the data back to the Medspa every time the client uses it. So there's a record of how well they're doing. And then once we get the monthly report, what we're doing is we're actually creating an AI agent to call the client and, book an appointment to come back. So that completes the loop. Okay. So you actually have the client believes that the Medspa estheticians are actually looking at them all the time. And then when they come back, all their scores are available for discussion, and they can actually change, modify, update the workflow. So that's that whole home and spa engagement is very new for any Medspa. And so that's where we are. We took the first couple of months with this first Medspa to make sure that all of uh, the different specific features that will help them do their job better and help them get this loyalty as well as upsell product sales are all included in this capability. So that was how we have introduced it to the Medspas. And now we're actually seeing the usage. So we will be going to other Medspas with that.
Okay. So that's very exciting. Also, your flow is very sophisticated. You are using AI engine, in the entire process. And also it seems like you have an auto feedback loop. So yeah, amazing. Okay. So now I want to shift this gear to a little bit like something we actually get very excited about. Okay. Especially in this industry with the booming of AI. So actually API is another form which get very popular now. So, and then you are transitioning to an API focused model. And then of course we work very closely together on this shift. So can you talk about why you decide to adopt the API first strategy? And then what benefit is bringing to for like a scale, the speed and innovation and the integration? So can you tell us about your insight about transitioning to API?
Yeah. So as you know, you've started the API offering recently. And we started with the SDK offering, which had a few, additional limitations in terms of specific offering for each type of device, each type of location. So we like the flexibility that the API provides in those kinds of parts of it. We also like the fact that it's a consumption-based model and we can actually build our business model to also be consumption based so that, it is a more cost effective way for a startup company to engage with their customers and build the business. So those are some of the things that we really thought were very attractive in your API offering.
Yes, that's exactly one of the reasons why we are moving to this API first strategy, because we work with many big brand and also smaller brand. But we feel like at the very beginning for the smaller or startup company, you ask them to have a big upfront cost without doing any business. So that will be a little bit challenging for their investment. So that's why I guess, as you say, the API business is more like a usage business, right? So pay as you go. And if you eventually grow into a bigger like enterprise, so hopefully, I guess the Nūraskin will soon see that kind of level. We do have some other enterprise pricing and give it even more deep discount. Okay, so on top of that. And also for API, when we talk to your engineering team, so basically it's a device agnostic, right? So because in that, for the SDK, we only have iOS. So if you want to implement the Android, you won't be able to do that. But for the API, actually open up a huge opportunity. So my next question is, as you move into this the next phases with our API, so do you see is the new opportunity on the business model or the revenue stream for the Nūraskin?
Yeah, so we are actually with this, we're now working on our second market segment, which, I think is now available to us with the APIs. So this market segment is actually a pre-product launch clinical test opportunity. As you know, clinical tests in the skincare business is either ingredient-based testing or, a limited amount of people testing that is focus group-based, have to be in a specific area. So we are now able to with your engine and our flow, create panels of 200 to 500 people that can test simultaneously and at a very detailed level to see how effective the product is. And we think this is a, great application of the technology that the workshop that we put together. Because as you know, in the skincare business, 65 to 70% of new products fail in the market. Okay. And this kind of testing is not available to them. It's not affordable in any other way. Now we are actually making it affordable with the at-home solution with using the smartphone, using the consumption-based pricing. So I think this is a area that I'm particularly interested in seeing we can actually have a big.
That's very exciting. Yeah, that's very exciting. And then we will continue to support you to open up this new opportunity, open up all these new doors for the skin plus AI plus the API. Okay, so let's talk about the future. So looking ahead, because of this podcast, we have a lot of executives and thought leaders listening. So that's why I always want to see from your perspective, okay, what trend do you see shaping the next evolution of AI-driven skin health and the personalized beauty? Where do you think this consumer expectation are heading?
Yeah, so I think, overall, AI is coming into our lives at a speed that most people didn't even realize was possible. So everyone is actually looking at, how it can be used to impact what they do in terms of all aspects of their life, how they live, how they learn, how they work, how they play. All of aspects of it is being transformed through this technology. We think that in the skincare business, the personalization of what people want to have, hyper personalized capabilities, okay, and that is where things are headed. Is a desire from, I think, especially the younger people who not have the same thing as everybody, just do something that specifically helped me out. And also, they're very results conscious. So they want to know, if, particular Korean 12-step skincare process is better than the 10-step some other process. And the more that we can actually provide them combination of the, you know, continuous expertise, results that they can actually measure and see, that's, very exciting to people. Okay. And that's why we decided to incorporate the esthetician agent into Nūraskin already. And as we go forward, the Nūraskin esthetician is actually going to learn at a much faster pace than most, Medspa estheticians can learn themselves. So I believe that it's actually going to become very exciting. The other thing which we actually, just introduced here, which is, I think, pretty unique, is we introduced something called a check makeup capability, which is for the beauty side of it, not the skincare side. And this capability actually is, it basically, says if you take a picture and have your skin scores without makeup and you use your makeup, how well did the makeup actually improve your glow score and improve your scores? And that's, something that I think is, starting to get a lot of attention from girls because they want to know that the makeup they're using is actually making them look, really as good as possible. So we now have a makeup score that they can get out of it. So this is, one more from the personal point of view. From the industry point of view, I, introduced the fact that, the overall clinical testing or the product testing, area can be completely transformed with what we are talking about here in terms of, data-driven, evidence-driven solutions that people can have. And also we see that, if you want to be able to claim certain benefits of your product, okay, this data is very important. Plus, we also see the ability for, brands to say, yes, I, stand behind my product. And here, if you download this, app, you will see improvements for yourself. So it's post-purchase benefits as well, so that they can claim that they can prove that, millions of people who buy their product will all get the results. So those are things that I think are not possible today that we can see being enabled with technology we create.
Yes, so indeed, that's very exciting from this the user, right? So from the user perspective, and then they will be able to combine the beauty, which is the makeup, and the skin together, and then see that true beauty. And also from industry perspective, combine the data analysis, and then provide this user a more trustworthy kind of solution. So I guess that's really amazing. Okay? And I'm looking forward to see all this development down to the road. Okay? So Dr. Chatterjee, so thank you so much for joining us today. So your work at Nūraskin shows what's possible when the deep technology experience meet the real passion of improving people's life. And then you will move forward this API first model, really align with where all this industry is moving. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Wayne. It was a pleasure to join you, and it's a pleasure working with you. And we look forward to continued cooperation to build the next phase of the skincare and beauty industry.
Yes, absolutely. Likewise. So for our listener, first, download this Nūraskin app and then get this promotion. Okay. So, and then if you want to see what's coming in the AI, beauty, skincare, and also this API-driven AI experience, make sure you explore Perfect Corp's API platform, of course, and then follow the Beautiful AI podcast for the future conversation. I'm your host. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you in the next episode. Thank you so much.
We hope you enjoyed listening to the Beautiful AI podcast. To continue exploring the world of beautiful AI and technology innovation, subscribe to the podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and be sure to join us for our next episode.